This is episode 7, and it's not Groundhog Day, but we are talking about a very similar Husker performance from a week ago. A week ago?
Yes, it has been a week ago.
Yeah.
A week ago Saturday, so it's over a week,
That's
but
right.
it's still same results. Same action, same results. I like this beat.
I really did, too. Just listen. Greg turned up.
Oh, that's even better there. That's one of those beats right there that you can just be driving down the interstate and just relax to it.
Just
relax to it.
I like it.
Make up your own rap version to it.
I really like it. So I thought our preview last year was pretty good, the intros and stuff, but I really like just the music and
just music. That way we could talk and
more casual. Anyway, welcome to Tommie Frazier's Husker Nation. This is the destination for everything Husker football. I'm your co-host, Dan Powers, joined each week. Whoa, that thing just jumped by itself. You hear that?
Yeah, there's a ghost down here.
It is that time of the month.
It is Halloween. It is Halloween, so there's a ghost. Oh, I see the white sheets over there. I hope that's not the KKK, though.
Uh-oh. Anyway, that is two-time national champ, Hall of Famer, Tommie Frazier.
Yes, and live in the flesh on this great Monday afternoon, Monday evening, whatever you want to call it.
It's early still.
Yeah, it's not too early.
Mid-afternoon. Day's about to wind down, for most people at least.
Yeah, not for you, though.
No, not for me.
You got to make a trip to Lincoln.
Yeah. Well, I don't get to go to Lincoln very often.
Well, you're not really missing much, to be honest with you.
No.
Lincoln is truly a college town. I used to live there for 5 years, and one of the good things about moving back to Omaha, there's a lot more to do. People are a lot more friendlier.
You only lived there
Omaha.
for 5 years?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you left for a while.
I went to college and I left for a while, and I
right.
moved back when I was coaching at Doan, and then I stayed there a couple more years after that, and I said, you know what, it's time for me to get back to the big O. Time to get back to the O.
Well, I don't get to do trips like this very often, so even though it's a Monday, I'm looking forward to it.
You might get a free meal out of it.
I'll definitely at least get a free beer out of it.
A free beer. Don't drink too much because you got to get back.
No, I won't do that. But nevertheless, we'll see what happens with that, and there might be more about that we'll talk about next week.
Yes, we will.
But before we get in the game, I got to just recap again, Pat and JT, pick 'em. And the only reason at this point I wanted to bring it up is because they have no chance to come back. So we do this Big Ten Pick'em Challenge.
They have no chance.
Q98, 95 morning show, Pat and JT.
Right.
And right now, the score, and we go week by week, Team Touchdown Tommie is now sitting at 7 wins, and Team Pat and JT is at 1 win. So,
but they can do it because
they have tie.
They can tie. So they have They can actually if they win the bowl series too.
They have, there's 5 games left?
Yeah, Nebraska has 5 games. Mm-hmm. Then they go to the championship game, but the Big Ten.
Oh, Big Ten.
And then you got the bowl games.
So they could tie it.
They can tie and even come back if we count the bowl games.
I guess they could tie it up.
But I'm looking at this right now. It's kind of like golf. You know how the Ryder Cup, when you play match play, and we go 7 and 6. That's what it is. We're up by 7 with 6 holes to go. There's no chance.
Dude, we can take some crazy chances. There's no way.
I thought about taking crazy chances too this week, and it's just one of those deals. I'm like, if we lose, we still got ground. But
you know what won it this week is I bet on Maryland. It came down to the Maryland game, and
who did they play again?
Did they just play?
Rutgers. Was it Rutgers?
No, Minnesota.
What? What's going on in Minnesota this year? I thought everybody on ESPN had them competing for the Big Ten West.
Really, Minnesota?
Yeah, that's Kurt Hurst's favorite team. Minnesota's gonna win the Big Ten West.
Well, ain't happening this year, and with that win, we secured a victory yet again. That's a 6-week streak, kicking that ass over Pat and JT.
Sorry, people. I mean, sometimes you just gotta stick with what you know.
Well.
Don't never bet a football. Never bet against football players. Never bet against guys who know how to play football.
Well, then they'll tell us, hey, you guys shouldn't be on the air.
Oh, we should be on the air. Because all they're doing is just talking too.
Well, they took some of the podcast from last week.
Uh-huh.
We were talking smack, and they played it Friday on over the air.
Well, it's a friendly deal. We're just having fun with it.
And
Did he play the part about telling about he gonna be afraid to drive in my house?
He did. And he says he rolls down the window every time and he's waving, "Hey Tommie, hey Tommie."
He does if I'm outside.
We talked about him. Oh, they played the part about him wearing candy stripe Or liking teams with the candy stripes.
We gotta have it's all a lot of fun. It's a good competition.
Well, it's not really good competition. It is fun, but it's not really good competition.
Well, it is good competition because we're just kicking that. You know what?
Well, if we win this week,
they have no chance.
Well, they have no chance, and at that point, I think we change up the game, and we finish the rest of the season off individually and see who the MVP is.
I can do that too. I'm the MVP right now. My picks. Jeez.
Well, we can do the math and figure that out. I'm not really sure. I don't know who is.
Yeah, but it's a fun competition though. It's fun. It's keeping things exciting. It gives you something to do. Just send us some stuff out and let us pick and pick teams and go from there. It's
enjoyable. They've been good sports about it.
So we'll just have them buy us a beer sometime and we'll be done with it.
Or two.
Well,
I'm sure
you and I. That's two. So
I'm sure you can get Pat over mowing your yard again.
No, let me snowball my drive this winter.
Well, that's an even better idea. All right, moving on. This week, Nebraska came out on all cylinders. Like for the first 20 seconds of the game, like I was blown away, and then everything went flat. That's the one thing that I do like that the last couple of games they actually come out and started fast. But the one thing I don't like is how they get complacent and not continue with what's going on. And then that could be twofold. That could be the energy and want to get out to a fast start. And it could be also that when you as an offensive play caller, you have your set number of plays that you're going to call. And when you call two plays, that kind of throws you off your deal. So what you're trying to do is figure out, go back to your script and call the plays, seeing different formations, seeing how they're going to line up versus against these certain formations or how these plays work. So you think at the beginning of the game, there's a good chance they're just trying to read the other team.
Yeah, and every coach does that. Every coach that I've known in the coaching field, and even when I coach, we always had the first 13 to 15 play script. And it was the first down, second and long, third and long, second and short, second and medium. And you have all those set because that's how you base your game plan. And so I'm pretty sure they have the same thing. And so if you score in the first two plays, or first three plays, now you're gonna go back up to where you left off, and then go down the script that way.
Now, was that done in Nebraska when you were there?
Oh, yeah. Coach Osborne always scripted the first 15 plays.
So this has been a common practice for a long time.
And we knew the first 15 plays was going to be because we started working on those plays probably Tuesday or Wednesday in practice, and we know Thursday walkthrough, Friday walkthrough was going to be the first 15 plays. We knew that. So there was no reason to screw up on the first 15 plays, or at least the first 5.
Yeah,
you didn't think after that, but the first 5, you kind of knew what was coming up.
Well, they didn't screw up the first 20 seconds of the game. And then after that, I don't know what happened. But in the end, they still pulled off a win. They got hot again at the end of the game and secured a win on 27-14 over Purdue, and now jumped up again in the poll. Number 7th in the AP, 6th in the coaches.
Yeah, but the problem with finishing strong is that eventually you're going to face a team to where they're not going to let you finish strong.
Well,
to where you got to play a full game. And I think this week is going to be that week to where they can't take a quarter off. They can't take a half off. They can't rely on the fourth quarter. They're going to have to play this week and next week.
Yeah.
They're going to have to play a full 4-quarter game. If they take one quarter off, they could very well easily get blown out. Because Nebraska has a bad history when they go to Madison. If you look at the last couple of years that they've gone up there, they got blown out 2 years ago when a guy rushed for almost 300. He could have rushed for 400 yards if they kept him in the whole game.
Yeah.
And then the 2 years prior to that, Wisconsin scored quite a few points on when Taylor Martinez was the quarterback. So Nebraska hasn't fared very well in Madison.
Well, you're jumping ahead a little bit, and we'll get to that in the next few minutes. So for those that want to know about
this week,
your thought about Wisconsin, was coming up. But this week, yeah.
Yeah, but Purdue, I was happy to see them come back out of halftime. Defense made the adjustments. And they played well. I think they gave like 90-some yards in the second half, and they gave up almost 200-some yards in the first half. And then the offense, were they perfect in the second half? No, but they did some things to put points on the board and to move the football.
Well, what I thought of the first game, or the Huskers only had 12 rushes in the first half for 74 total yards. I wrote that wrong. I'm slurring over that tongue tie. So the rushing game clearly wasn't working early on. Do you see that as the offensive line just being winded? They're just beat up, and
Yes.
now we got backups in there.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. When you got this many guys beat up, and then you 3 of your starters who didn't play, or 2 of your starters that didn't even play last week, that makes a difference, especially when you have a team who comes in with nothing to lose. They had nothing to lose,
and
Purdue,
they took some shots.
and they'll win the game at halftime. So I think everyone, as far as the offensive line play, that's part of the game. To where you're going to be beat up. You're going to be beat up late towards the middle, late in the season. The question is how much depth do you have at that position? And so what you're seeing now is that Nebraska really doesn't have the depth that people thought they had. Because when you got your two of your top 3 guys, one's hurt, the other 2 are sitting out, and you're struggling moving the ball against Purdue, a team who's not a barn burner by whatsoever.
132nd
versus a rush or something like that. The offensive line has to be hurting. Because we ran the ball versus a better Illinois team defensive front than we did Purdue. So we ran the ball better against Indiana, who has a better defense than Purdue. So there's something wrong with the offensive line. And I'm not saying they're playing bad, but they just beat up. And when you beat up, that's what you're going to get.
What do you think? So I'm going to throw some questions out to you early in this one.
Throw them out. Whoa, throw them out.
I got a variety in Twitter. So Kevin Kerwin asked, what happened in the second quarter that you saw that caused this team to just stall out?
Well, once again, I just think the offensive line was hurt. They couldn't establish a run game. The passing game, they hit a pass here, hit a pass there. But I truly believe that Purdue just played a better second quarter. And it shows on the scoreboard. They scored a touchdown. We didn't. So that's when you have a beat-up offensive line, and you can't say, well, Tommie played a bad game, or you can't say the Terrell Newman didn't play. Everything, to me, Saturday fell back on the offensive line. And when you look at the game, and if you go back and watch it, there are plays to where you saw 3 or 5 guys on the offensive line after plays were over with were limping back to the huddle.
Yeah,
right there lets you know they're hurt. So they did a great job out there fighting through it because we don't have much more. There's much healthy bodies, but they're a beat up team. They're a beat up offensive line.
On a good note, Kieran Williams, mm-hmm. 2 interceptions on the day.
2 interceptions. And matter of fact, I actually saw him after the game at the tailgate where I was, and he's not a very big kid, but he's a very smart kid. And just talking with him, just for the brief 5-10 minutes that I did, because he had to go. He's got a bright future. He's a very intelligent kid. He knows. He's one of those kids who want to know the history.
Is he a sophomore?
I think he's a junior.
Junior?
Because we talked about how they had everything, the Taj Mahal and all this kind of stuff. And one of my former players, was Sean Jackson, said, if Nebraska truly want to get it back to the winning ways, they need to change the entrance. The entrance, what do you mean? He said they need to start coming back out of South Stadium. And I was like, well, that's what they want to go back to where it originally started. So coming out north end zone, but you got a good point there. Well, 3 of the 5 championships in Nebraska, we came out of the south end zone.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but he wants to. But Karan, he wants to know because he was asking questions about the history, about how we did it, stuff like that. So that's what you feel good about. To where you got players who want to know what the tradition is, want to know the history. They're asking questions.
That's awesome to hear, or even to see. And he really did shine. And then several members on the defense, where he just talked about even before the start of Josh Banderas.
Yeah, he's waking up. I mean, the problem with that was coming out of high school, we all thought he had the ability to do it. And, of course, there were some things that happened his first couple, 2-3 years to where you can say this didn't happen, that didn't happen, or he didn't do this, or he didn't do that. But what you're starting to see now is a guy who's taking things on his own wings and say, you know what, it's up to me to go out here and be the football player I know I can be. And he's starting to do that. He had 13 tackles last week. He had 10 this week, 5 solo. I mean, it's stuff like that. I could be off with a couple tackles here and there. But it's just a simple fact that he's starting to feel the flow of the game. He's starting to see it, read, and hit it.
Which is great to see at this time of the year when everybody else is dealing with injuries and are hurt. He's really stepping up and becoming a shining spot the last couple of weeks.
And he's the senior at the linebacker. That's the type of play you want to see from your senior.
Well, defense didn't have the greatest day. I mean, David Blau, I think that's his name.
Yeah, but
put up 309 yards.
Yeah, but a lot of that was early on in the game, though.
First half,
a lot of first half. So once again, they came in here with nothing to lose. Nebraska was kind of a little bit nervous there because it was home for. But what happened? I look at after the first big play of the long 88-yard touchdown pass. How much did they give up after that? That was the big plays. Not to me. I don't think they gave up very many more big plays after that.
Yeah, if you really take away that 80 yards, it's not nearly that bad.
Right, and because I was talking about it earlier, that same guy who caught 88 had to have 4 catches on the day for 100 yards. The first one was 88, and he had 3 for 12. So obviously, but he had another touchdown in there. But obviously, they kept him in check to where the first play, they were nerves. He got behind him. That happens.
On the flip side, some good spots or some good shiny moments on our team. Drew Brown, 51-yard, field goal, which we don't talk a lot about field goals very often, but for a young kid,
he always has a strong. He always knew. His brother when his brother played with me. You could just tell that.
Which Brown was that?
It was Chris. It was Chris Brown, Mr. Dunkin' Donuts. You can just tell that there was something about him. Then when you see Drew come in here and watch him just as a freshman, because you don't find too many freshmen coming in kicking. But for some reason, when Nebraska has them, they're going to kick. They're going to use him, and he did. I think he missed 1 field goal, but
yeah, he did.
But you kicking it up, you're going to miss something.
Yeah.
Look at last night, the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Both those guys missed field goals to win the game in overtime.
That's crazy.
So if you kick, you're going to miss him sometime. But his accuracy and the way he's kicking the ball this year, that Nebraska has an advantage there.
Another one, Trey Bryant. 59-yard kickoff return.
Is there a theme here? We talking about special teams now? Is there a theme here? We're talking about field goals.
I was working my way. I'm building up to that because there's some questions about special teams.
Special teams are it's work, and they got a spark from Trey starting the third quarter, starting the second half, gave him a spark to where they can go down and get some momentum going. Special teams, people don't realize how valuable special teams are until they're not good. They don't, because special teams are just as big a part of the game as the offense and the defense. And when your special teams are bad, then you're going to put your defense in some bad shapes. You're going to put your offense in some trouble.
Yeah.
So all three. So special teams have to be just like you practice, like you do offense and defense. And I don't know how much they spend on those certain units, but they have to get better. We got to start, and that's not criticizing anyone, but you come into the media schedule now.
Yeah.
You come in, Wisconsin has played their gauntlet. They finish their gauntlet, finish up with us. Okay, Ohio State is now starting to get into their gauntlet. We're starting our gauntlet now.
Yeah.
So our special team is going to have to carry, especially if our offense is beat up and we start getting injuries on defense. So special teams got to be special.
Well, Double Husker asked the question about that, and you just answered. So just to say, Double Husker, you got your question answered. Whoever Double Zero Husker, actually.
I'm psychic. I already know the question is going to be asked.
That's where I'm heading. I was trying to build up to it, and you got it. Trey Bryant was a shiny moment, but punt return really wasn't there. But on another good note, just to continue the positive, even though a lot of people didn't see the positive in this game in a lot of areas, but Tommy Armstrong came out and looked healthy. He ran very well.
Well, I think some time off this week, not taking every snap helped. People saying they need to rest him. No, he needs to stay out there playing as much as he can because of what we have coming up. He needs to keep that rhythm. And I keep telling people all the time, there's still a lot of people talking negative. They always going to be, did you see this? Or did you see that? Did you see that? Oh, he threw that. People, we don't have anybody else that can take this team on his shoulder and help us win football games. Not this year. So let's get behind him and be. And we're 6-0 or 7-0.
What?
Did I say that?
You said 6-0.
And we're 7-0, right?
Yeah, we're 7-0.
We're 7-0.
It's your show.
I know, but sometimes you forget. But we're 7-0.
Yeah. We're 7-0. And
what's wrong with that?
And we would not be 7-0 if Tommy wasn't in there.
Well, no, we'll probably be 3-4.
It would not be good.
Or 2-5. Yeah. We might be Oregon.
I actually have heard less and less complaining each game about Tommy. It seems like even last game with all the he didn't have a good game.
Yeah, but there's still those naysayers out there. There's still those ones who just don't want to give him credit. And I keep going back to it, and I'm going to continue going back to this. If you look at Tommy from 3 years ago to Tommy now, Is he a better quarterback?
Absolutely.
That's all you can ask for. He spent 5 years here. Is he a better quarterback now than he was when he came in?
All right. Well, John Boyd, or Bode, I'm going to say Bode. He asked on Twitter, is the future that you see is the need for a dual-threat quarterback to stay competitive in the Big Ten, or should they be looking to the pro style?
Well, look at the Big Ten. Look at the majority of the teams that are successful in the Big Ten. Okay, that should answer your question. Look at Ohio State. Okay, look at Wisconsin. You know they have a drop back quarterback, but he's kind of mobile. He can move.
Northwestern.
Look at Northwestern. Look at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Look at what Illinois did. That was the second quarterback they put in versus Nebraska, who gave Nebraska fits. The college game is becoming one of those sports to where you can't have just a drop back quarterback sit back in the pocket and win football games. Not anymore. Because you look at the top 10 teams right now in college football, the top 10. We're not even talking about the Big Ten.
Yeah.
We're talking about the top 10 in college football. How many of those have pro style quarterbacks? I'll wait.
I don't even know. 8?
0.
Oh, you said pro. I'm sorry. I said it backwards. Yeah,
they have pro style quarterbacks.
I was just thinking through Louisville and
okay. Let's go down. Let's
Ohio State.
Let's see if I can remember in order. Alabama.
I'm pulling up the rankings.
Or what is it? Hurts. Okay. Who's Michigan? Might be the only one.
Yeah.
Might be the only one. Okay. Then you have who's number 3 team? Was it
Clemson?
Clemson. Well, we already know he can run.
Yeah.
4.
Washington.
We already know that guy can run and throw because they run a spread offense. They go whatever. 5.
Louisville.
Well, we already know there.
Jesus
6.
Christ. Ohio State.
We already know that. 7.
Or / Nebraska.
7. Nebraska.
Yeah.
8.
Baylor.
Thank you. 9.
Texas A&M.
Thank you. 10.
West Virginia.
Thank you. So my point is,
I was like,
one team out of the top 10, you can say has the pro style quarterback. Football is changing. Look at the NFL. How many teams you starting to see in a shotgun? How many times you see quarterbacks who just sit back and sit in the pocket get hit? Tom Brady has to start. I watched Tom Brady. He moved out of the pocket more than anything because you can't sit back there anymore.
Yeah.
So the game is changing. The game is changing because the defense and linemen are just too quick and too fast, and the schemes that they're throwing against these offenses. You need a mobile quarterback because if you have a mobile quarterback, you force defense to do things you want them to do because they got to keep a guy on the quarterback. But if he's a drop back,
yeah,
you're not worried about him beating you with his leg. You can send as many blitzes as you want.
You guys figured that out 20 years ago.
Well, we wouldn't necessarily figured it out. It was a style of offense that we ran. But what you started seeing, I think, and I don't quote me on this, but I want to say is either Mike Leach or Hal Mummy was the one who figured it out with his whole spread offense type scheme that spread the people out and let's play numbers game and get a mobile quarterback. I think one of those two were the first one to come out with this spread offense stuff.
Well, you just answered like 3 more Twitter questions. So Jason and Rice, I was just trying to read up and see, but yeah. Well,
but I think the question was Nebraska, the future at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
The future at Nebraska, I think we could be hurting it a little bit next year. I think it might not be the same type of play. You know, it might be, whoever the quarterback might throw complete more passes, but I think you're probably going to see more sacks, which is going to hurt us because it's going to give us bad field position. Yeah. You know, so I think Tommie, what he's doing is showing what this offense can be if you have a guy that can do both. Not saying that the drop back quarterback is over with.
No. But
you're gonna see less. You're gonna see less and less. I promise you're gonna see less and less of drop back quarterbacks in college football.
And it seems like that's what Riley, in the past at least, seems to be attracted to is that drop back style. But we'll see what he does. And you got the guys that are sitting back there right now, Patrick O'Brien and Tanner. Drops that, they're drop back passers.
And I look at the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
They're not a spread offense. They're more of a pro style type offense. But the guy's mobile. He can beat you with his legs and his arms.
Damn, they're good. Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, they're not a spread offense. They're more of the pro style drop back type. But they're using his talent because his running ability changes everything for them. And I don't think they're better than what they were last year. I thought they had a better team last year than they do this year. I honestly do.
Killing fools.
But that's the thing about their defense. is scoring more points than a lot of offenses. What, this defense score, 10 straight games on defense?
All right, so we look ahead?
We can look ahead. We can look forward. We can look to the future.
Well, let's look ahead for a minute, because this week we finally
get a test.
We're getting the big test.
We're getting a test. And this is what football is all about. This is what Nebraska is. This is what we said on the first show this year. We hope Nebraska be 7-0 going into Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We hope that. Well, they are.
And as much as I hoped it, I really didn't think it would happen.
I didn't either. I'll be the first one to say I thought maybe they lost one game or two.
Yeah.
I did. But they won everyone. Hand claps to them.
Yeah.
Now if they want to show America, show the college football world that they're back, I'm not saying they have to win the game. I'm not going to say that.
But they can't.
But they can't get blown out like they did the last couple times in Madison. They have to go out there and they have to compete. And if the game goes down to a field goal like it did last year or something like that, I think they will gain the respect of the college football world.
Yeah.
But if they go up there and get blown out, then they'll just say, well, we already knew they weren't very good anyway. People will lose and they were winning, moving up.
Yeah.
So I think this is a must game to whether win or lose. They got to go out there and have a great showing.
It would be really ideal between this game or Ohio State to walk away with at least one of those wins.
One of those wins.
But one of those wins, I think Nebraska walks away with a lot of respect.
Yeah, and plus, they're in the driver's seat of the Big Ten West.
Yeah.
All they got to do is win. They control their own destiny. And if they lose, now they're putting their destiny in somebody else's hands. But as long as they win, they control it.
Well, right now Wisconsin's favored by, I think, 10. And when I was looking at this matchup predictor, and they have Wisconsin 70% favor to win this game.
Well, because they're playing at home, and they're looking at what Wisconsin has done this year, who they've beaten. That's what, and rightfully so. Wisconsin should be favored. They should be. Because one, you're playing at home. Two, you play a tougher schedule. You've proven that you can beat. And they won't say, well, they beat LSU early. Yeah, but look what time team LSU is turning out to be right now. You know what? They're 5-2 now, 4-2, 5-2.
Yeah.
So then you say, well, who else did they beat? They beat another. I can't. I wish I would.
I'm trying to look.
I wish I would known their schedule by heart.
Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern.
They beat Northwest. I mean, so no. They beat Purdue.
Oh, I'm reading our schedule.
You beat our schedule. Come on, man.
So Iowa was the last one, and that was a really close game.
That was a really close game. That game was close all the way to the fourth quarter.
They lost to Ohio State.
Barely.
They lost to Michigan.
Barely.
They beat Michigan State.
Yep. Well, everybody beat Michigan State right now. So
they barely won. What is it? Georgia State.
Yeah, but that was early in the. But what I'm getting at though, they've been in battles and they played those games tough, to where they legitimately had a chance to win the ones that they lost.
Yeah.
So that's why when Vegas and all sports bettors are looking at us, said this team is more challenged, so they're used to tough times because the way they played versus Michigan, who's the number 2 team in the country now, the way they played versus Ohio State, who's the number 6 team in the country. So, I rightfully so, they should be favored.
How are you leaning towards this?
I don't know yet.
I think
I always tell people I'm not a homer.
Yeah,
I'm a realist. I look at the matchups for these teams. Okay, and if I base it off last year's game matchup, when Nebraska wasn't very good.
Yeah,
and they went down to a field goal. I think it'd be it'd be a field goal game. I think whoever wins the turnover battle wins this game. Because I don't think either team is much better than the other. I think talent level's right there. It's the one who goes out and execute their offense and their defense the best.
We need Tommie to have a great day. And it'd be great to have Westerkamp back. I don't think Carter's coming back yet.
No, he's not. No, we don't need, I tell people we don't need Tommie. We don't need Tommie to have a great day. We need Tommie to have a good day and not turn the ball over.
Good point.
And we need the offensive line to establish somewhat of the run game. Okay, we're not saying they're gonna rush. Nebraska should rush for 250 yards versus Wisconsin because there's not very teams that have.
Yeah.
But if they can rush for 150, 200, close to 200, Nebraska have a very good chance of winning. And all we need to do defense, make them one-dimensional. Slow down the run because they don't have a very good passing game. And their job, and Wisconsin's job is they're going to pound the football. We're going to run the football with the ISOs and the counter traffic pulling guards and all that, the gap runs. If we can slow them down on the running game, force them in second and long, third and long, we got a chance. Because I don't think Wisconsin's settled on who their quarterback is. I really don't. I think last week they traded. I think the last week, a couple weeks ago, they like musical quarterbacks with them. So, and plus the guy that they left, he's a freshman.
Freshman. You would think he's bound to crack at some point, right?
Oh, he's going to crack. He's going to hit that. He's going to hit that slump. He's going to hit that slump. And all freshmen do it.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I hit it. But the key was when I hit it, we had a running game.
Yeah.
We had a running game. So that's why most people didn't really notice it.
You wouldn't notice it nearly. Yeah, you were
didn't
stacked.
notice because all I had to do was hand the ball off. But when you focusing everything on the quarterback, where he has to be perfect. Oh, and the freshmen they have it. They all do. They all have it.
Well, I look at these scores, and I know they've been through the two battles, but I think Nebraska looks this game looks favorable to us. I think Wisconsin should be favored, but when you look at them against Iowa.
On the road, but yeah, on the road. But Iowa struggle. I mean, no, but keep going.
Georgia State.
Second game of the season after they beat LSU. Come off emotional high after beating they had that. So I call it as their letdown game.
Yeah,
and they beat and they beat Michigan State where
36. Where they play Michigan at Michigan State. Well, Michigan State has lost everything.
So what I'm getting at, most of their tough games have been on the road in other people's backyards.
At Michigan? Yeah, you're right.
Let's see how they play. They're a totally different football team at nighttime, at home, in the Big Ten.
Well, we've seen that.
Get that crowd going in there, and they're doing that jump around crap at the fourth quarter and all that kind of stuff. That's a tough environment to play in.
So you're not ready to make a prediction?
I'm people not gonna like this. I'm gonna make a prediction. I think Wisconsin wins by a late field goal.
Oh no!
I'm not a homer, but I'm taking Wisconsin at home.
God damn.
And I'm truly basing it off the last time a lot of these players went up there on this team 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what I'm basing it off of. They've been up there, they played up there, and they knew, man, we got our butts kicked.
Yeah. And Wisconsin's defense looks really good this year.
That's why I'm giving them that is the reason why I'm giving them the leg. Because Nebraska's offense, they haven't put four quarters together. And Wisconsin's not going to let them put four quarters together. I'm sorry. So we're gonna need special team, we're gonna need defenses, make some plays or something. But we're not just gonna move the ball up and down the field against them. No team has. So what makes things we're gonna be any different?
Yeah. Ooh, well, we'll find out Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll find out Saturday night. Now keep in mind, do I want Nebraska to win? Of course. But I'm also a realist. Yeah. That I look at everything. I just don't look at we're 7-0 and they're 5-2, and I don't look at. I look at matchups. Their defense versus our offense. Their offense versus our defense. Their special teams versus our special team. That's what I look at. Then I look at home crowd versus the road. Because it's gonna be a hostile. This will be the first true hostile environment that Nebraska's been in.
Yeah, they haven't played any place this year.
You think Northwestern was on the road? They played Indiana. That wasn't hostile.
No.
So that it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough environment. It's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. I will be watching it.
7-0. It's gonna be really good to be 8-0.
Yeah, I want to be 8-0.
Holy shit!
But either way,
shut those.
But either way, we're still gonna be back and still here talking next week, talking about it.
All right. Yeah. All right. You want to do a few more Twitter questions?
Yeah, let's do a few more.
Gotta have my whistle.
Gotta have a whistle. Break it up.
All right, let's see who else I got. What else we got?
I know people out in Husker land are upset me right now because I made that prediction.
A lot of other people are saying it too.
Yeah, I'm just not a homer.
I think the difference is a lot of people are crying. I see it on Facebook. Oh, we'll lose. Tommie will choke. But you're just being realistic about it. I'm being
realistic, and it might not be Tommie choke. It might be, knock on wood, it might be a muff punt. It might they return a kickoff for a touchdown. It might be a safety. The ball snapped over our head. It might be defense giving up a long run. It might be anything can happen. And
you answered a lot of these. Jason N says, do you care more about the W or how they play the game?
I care more about how they go out and compete. Because if they go out and compete, it gives themselves a chance to win it. But if they don't go out and compete, then they don't have a chance. So that's why I care about more. Of course you want to win, but you can lose and still leave with your head up high because you know that I went on the road, Wisconsin, who everyone already think they're better than us anyway because they lost 2 games. But guess what? We went to their house and we battled them. They beat us by a field goal. We can come back and hold our head up high.
I agree. Just God, don't want to lose the respect.
And I don't think Nebraska will. I truly, if they keep it within a touchdown and Nebraska lose by 7 points or less, then everyone will respect that. Now, if they go lose by 17, 20, 30, 40, and give up almost 400 yards of rushing like they did a couple years ago.
Never hear the end of it.
You would never hear that. Everyone say, see, told you. They were saying they're not ready. There's a fluke. Look at the teams that they played before.
All right, 2 more. Well, actually, 1. Daryl Stillman, he doesn't have a question, but he says, I got no question, but you're the best, brother.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Am I Randy Macho Man Savage?
I was thinking Hulk Hogan.
Well,
come on, brother.
No, I like Macho Man better. Oh, yeah.
Nebraska football.
Rest in peace, brother.
The Nebraska Gridiron says, what's the biggest difference between college football right now compared to when you play?
Oh, just the style of offenses and defense that they're playing. Back when I played, and it was 20-some years ago, you saw a lot more running teams. You saw a lot more power football. Now you're seeing a lot more spread offense. You're seeing a lot more gadget defenses on defense. I think it's time. It's a style of football. I'm not saying back when I played is better football or this is better football. It's just one of those deals where football and everything is a cycle. Everything comes back in a cycle to where you start. The option football will be back. The option football will be back. Then the drop back pro style quarterback might be back. And then this spread offense is gonna come back. So it's all just a cycle. I think the players are different now than when I played.
Faster.
I'm not even gonna say faster, but just their mentality. I think when I came to school, everybody's dream was to play in the NFL, but they knew they were gonna play 4 years. They wanted to win more of a championship.
Yeah, that is.
Now you see kids. You hear stories about he's 3 and done, or he's 3 and he's 4. It's hard to build dynasties when you got kids coming in with them. My only main objective is to make it to the NFL. So I think that's the difference to me, to where we wanted to stay and create something special. Well, now today's player, I'm gonna get my money now. I'm gonna get it instead of building a dynasty at your university.
Everybody wants something right now. Instant satisfaction.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. Social media has changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Recruiting is completely nuts, and a lot of it's because of social media.
And I think kids are softer, too, when it comes to their mental makeup.
I think you're right.
To where if a coach says something to them that they don't like, they leave. Or they break down. To where I know that there's plenty of times that, and I heard Charlie Brown say some things to the defensive guys, and they looked at him like he was crazy, but guess what? They saw it as a challenge. Now, you say some of the stuff that was said back then to some of these players, they're gone. Or you have players these days, in my opinion, they don't want to compete. They were the best. They were the best coming out of high school, but then they recruit somebody else who was just as good as them. And if they go in there and not playing right away, then I'm leaving, I'm transferred, or I can't do this anymore. What happened? What happened to the old mentality? Competition makes everybody better. And players today are, in my opinion, are afraid to compete against each other because they got their parents telling them that they're the greatest. They should be playing. You got the high school coaches telling them that. You got the community telling them that. But those players know.
Yeah,
they know. There's a reason. Coaches aren't in this business today to sit the best player on the sideline. Because if they lose, what's going to happen? They'll get fired. Well, back when I played, we had the luxury. It was kind of understood that no, you're gonna come in here and you're gonna learn the system. You're gonna redshirt. We're gonna build you up. And you're gonna wait your turn. And then you're gonna get on the field. That didn't happen to everyone, but there's some players who play early. But then there's some who had to follow the process.
Did you ever consider leaving?
I did early.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Not be the first. Yeah, I did. I thought I was ready to play it, and when I sat down with everybody and talked with my parents, and I wasn't ready to play, but in my mind I was.
Yeah.
So but it goes through everybody's mind as a freshman when they're not out there playing, even when you are playing. Man, I'm homesick. I want to leave. I want to get back closer to home.
I think that's a big problem.
Yeah.
I would assume being an 18-year-old kid, mom not cooking you dinner.
Yeah, well, in Nebraska, we already had good meals.
Oh,
all but Sundays. All but Sunday.
What was Sunday?
Right. Yeah, Sunday was like dorm food. They get the dorm food because the dining hall was closed and all that kind of stuff. So
the kingdom was closed for dinner.
Right.
All right. I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. The show is recorded live to tape each week, thus the airs. If you haven't already, go over to iTunes, subscribe to iTunes, Google Play. We're on SoundCloud, YouTube, and any other distribution channel that you want to get. Not yet.
What?
Still waiting for Spotify.
No, someone asked me last week, and I said, "Oh yeah, we're moving to Spotify."
I've been waiting,
and he's like, "Ooh, you go to Spotify, I'll be on it all the time," because he's a huge Spotify guy.
I'm waiting.
Shouts out to Glenn Jr., my favorite bartender at Champions.
Well, tell Glenn it's coming. I submitted it, and I'm on the waiting list. I'm just waiting for them to give me the approval.
Oh, so
it's very different than any other one. So some of them you just pay to get on. Some you submitted, and it takes a week or so. Spotify right now is in this beta period, and they're very selective, and they got people on waiting forever. And I don't know when they're going to open that door, but they're building that list, and it could happen tomorrow, or it could be January 1st.
Okay. Well, we're going to be shooting.
But we're on the list.
We're on the list, so we're going to be shooting. We're not going to take a week off.
And we'll get on, so we're about 2 weeks away, and we'll get on iHeartRadio app, too. So
that's nice, too. That's free.
Yeah. So people can listen on iHeart. So anywhere we can put this thing, whatever app you like, we'll find a way to get there. Just all about timing.
Hey, we're moving on up. We're like the Jeffersons. To the deluxe apartment in the sky.
You gonna walk out of here like George?
Yeah, with my little swagger on. I got his haircut going on right now.
Wheezy?
I got his haircut going on right now. Moving, losing my head right in the middle. So
Wheezy, remember Wheezy?
I got my Bozo the Clown hairdo on today. I need to go home and shave. I need to go shave.
All right, well, we'll be back next week recapping the Nebraska win over Wisconsin.
Even though I predicted them to lose, I'll be the first one to say yes, they won, and be happy for them.
I will be so thrilled because we'll be in the top 5.
Maybe.
And it's been I don't even care about that. It's crazy to see us even number 6 in the coaches. God damn, that's awesome.
I would like to see it because everyone now will say Nebraska's back.
You know that. So Saturday night, I read on Twitter, just people left and right kept saying, or even asking you, is Nebraska back? They didn't want to declare it, but they're right there teetering. In this game, a good game right here, I think people will say, even if we lose, like you said. If it's a close game, I think people say, "Oh, right,
they're a good football team."
We're back on.
No
track.
one expects for them to go into Wisconsin to win and play that game, but they played well.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, follow you on Twitter at Touchdown Tommie, and I'm over at FanName Dan and Facebook /Touchdown Tommie.
Yes, that too.
Got to throw that out.
Okay, be there.